Good morning, Roberta here. I'm sharing with you this morning the journal that I made for the 30-day challenge for the month of September on the Facebook group Junk Journal Junkies. And since I do use a Midori, or in this case a Fauxdori, I decided to make it a Midori style and Midori size so that I could fit it inside here, with the thought that I would be much more likely to use it every day if it were in what I was used to writing in almost every day. So this is actually a Fauxdori that was made for me. It's made out of leather. It has my name embossed in it. I don't know if you can see that. And it was made for me by a gentleman over in England by the name of Ray Blake, and I will link his information below. Ray has a website, and even if you're not interested in Midoris, he has a website. I believe it's called My Life All in One Place. And it's all about kind of organizing your life. He has even written a small book, which is available, I want to say, on Amazon as an ebook, and it's about journal writing. And it was pretty helpful to me, so I'll put all of that information below. So this is my Fauxdori, and inside is the journal that I made for the 30-day challenge. The paper I found at one of my favorite little craft stores down in Florida, and it's by Authentique. And it is from the Harvest collection, Harvest 5. It's two-sided paper. It's a nice sturdy paper. And on the little strip that always comes on the bottom of some of these papers, it even has a little quote. There is harmony in autumn and a luster in its sky. So I thought that was pretty nice. I put a little bit of trim down the side, and I have a friend who's a Stampin' Up! Consultant, and she has a garage sale at the end of every year where she sells off all of her retired stuff. And one of the things she does is she takes all of her scraps of ribbon and trim that Stampin' Up! Sells, and she stuffs bunches of them into little Ziploc bags, and she sells them for $1. So this year I looked at it and I thought, oh, I bet I could use that. So I bought one. It was the best thing I ever did, and I have told her that I want to buy any that she has left. So it's just really pretty. You will notice, maybe I shouldn't tell you, but I did sort of cut it the wrong way. It probably should be going this way. I do things like that a lot, but you know, leaves go in all directions, right? So it's fine. And that's the inside. I had some washi tape that had months on it, so I put September up here, made a pocket from one of the cut-off sections of the paper. This is from another pad of paper that I've had for a while, and I don't know that I still have the name of it, but I put that in there just as a journal spot. And a tag that came from the Michaels bargain bin, and this piece of ribbon was another one of those little cast-offs from my friend. I coffee dyed all of the pages. You know, I do write every day, and I do write personal things, so I'm kind of not going to let you read that. This is also washi tape that has just a little spot that you can write the date. Found some paper that has apples on it, and it was a cutoff, so it didn't have the whole section, so I just use it to make sort of a border. That's the word I'm looking for. And you know, on the first day that I wrote, and this is what happens with me, I ended up writing a page and a little bit on another page. On the second, you know, I didn't have as much to say. On the third, I really had hardly anything to say at all. I tend to use washi tapes to sort of delineate between the days, and I use different color inks. Mr. Blake included, at my request, 2 strings to use for bookmarks, and then I added the beads to them, so those are my bookmarks. And another color here. This, I think I told you in another video, when I was in Florida, because I don't have all the things there that I have here, I went out to the dollar store and bought some disposable baking trays, like cookie trays, to use for coffee dyeing. Never occurred to me that the texture on the trays would transfer onto the paper, and we sort of know that that happens when we coffee dye things. So at first I looked at it and I thought, oh geez, that's not going to work. But then I said, you know what, it's lines, and if I'm careful to put the paper down in such a way that the lines will be straight, that could be good. So I've made a couple of journals using it, but this is the first time I've actually written on it, and I have to say it did help. The lines are narrow, so I tend to not necessarily stay on them, but I follow the direction of them, and I do tend to be an uphill writer, so that helps a little bit. So that kind of worked out. So I'm hoping that I can stick with the challenge and write every day. Have a paper flag here on a paper clip. And then I have some things in my Midoris or in my journals that sort of follow me. So this Project Life card with a quote on it that I wrote is something that goes with me. So when I clean out one journal, I put it in the next one because I like having it. And here's one of those time cards, and I have a stamp set that makes little leaves, and I just colored it in and fussy cut it and put it on the time card. And more coffee dyed papers. This was a piece of a music instruction book that I got. I almost want to say it was one of my daughters, but don't tell her. She might not have wanted me to use it, but I think she's way beyond this point now anyway. And some cutoffs from the paper, again, to use as a journal card. And this was just a piece of cardstock that I had that seemed to be the right color. This was a tag that I made in a jelly printing class and another Stampin' Up! Leftover ribbon. And I just glued, I think it's one of Tim Holtz's Tattered Leaves from a die cut that I did on a book page, and just sort of colored it up and stuck that on there. There's some more of the lines and some more of that apple trim. This is a bag. It kind of looks like a glassine bag, but it's not. Some of you ladies might recognize this bag. That's all I'm going to say. If you can't figure it out, oh well. When I cut out those previous journal cards, of course, it left me with a little frame, and I thought, well, you know, maybe if I take a picture at some point, I'll have a frame for it. So I saved that because, you know, everything can be used. So I saved my little cutout frames. And this is a larger Project Life card with another one of those leaves on it that I fussy cut. And some more coffee dyed paper and more of that paper that I used for the cover. And I have I think it's an EK Success punch that does pumpkins. And I know pumpkins are really more for October than September, but it's kind of cute and I wanted to use it. Just having problems with my fingers working this morning. There we go. This was an envelope that I made I don't know how long ago, and oddly enough it was made from a September calendar, although I think it's like September 2011 or something. I made it using my envelope punch board, and it certainly looks a lot like September. And a library card inside and a little washi tape on the bottom of the library card. I was trying really hard to not use the word little so much, and apparently it's just not possible. So I have that so that it flips out so I can still write on the page. There's a lady who does some videos about Midoris who I believe is from Ireland, and so she calls everything wee. Instead of little, it's wee. And I don't know, when she says it, it just sounds so cute. When I say it, it just sounds like I can't stop saying the same word. More of the apple trim. And just a little, there you go, a wee flip using the paper from the cover and the other half of that bag and the other half of the music paper and the other half of the time card. In most of my Midoris, if not all, whenever I make them, I tend to put a piece of this, I think, is overhead projector paper because nobody uses those anymore in schools, and I had tons of it. They're nice because you can write on them if you want with a dry erase or a vis-a-vis marker. You can stick pieces of washi tape to them so that you always have some washi tape ready to go. So I always have one of those in there. This was a quote that came out of a fortune cookie. I think I've been moving this one around from journal to journal for a couple of years now, but I just loved it. It says, "There's more to balance than not falling over." And how true is that? That one just made me chuckle. So that one goes with me everywhere. A tag made from some paper that I had in my stash, and another piece of that Stampin' Up! Trim. This trim, aside from being very pretty, was stretchy. It was so cool. So I'm going to have to get some more of that stuff. And these were a printable from Pinterest, and I just printed off a bunch of them, and they're task lists, but they can be used for shopping lists or whatever. And then there's my coupons. And I usually have a few of those in there as well. So that is my journal for the 30-day challenge. Love to hear any comments that you might have, and thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.